Welcome to Old School, or shit. Man, we started this podcast off just perfectly for the new year.
Yeah, gotta start off strong.
Welcome to the Wilderness Podcast, episode 65. With another year brings us another episode, but I guess that's nothing new for each week. I am your host, Dilz, and with me as always is Deagin.
Hey, how's it going?
So what's new? Here we are with our, I guess, end of the year, beginning of the year podcast. Whatever you want to call it, however you want to look at it, but...
Start of a new year.
It's our New Year's episode.
Yeah, it's 2018. Really weird, but... I feel like I mentioned this. I'm trying to say this quickly. I feel like I mentioned this last year on our New Year's episode, but I remember being like... I had to have been like 8 or 9. I had to have been really little. Probably younger than that, but I was at my babysitter's and I remember seeing like the brick or like a furniture commercial on TV, and it was like, get your furniture and don't pay until 2007. And I remember thinking like, oh my god, that's in such a long time.
Yeah, okay. We were so naive back then. We didn't even know they were going to remove the wilderness from RuneScape. Yeah,
I had to have been like 8 or like between 6 and 8. I was really little thinking like, oh man, it's going to be really long time, couple years. But yeah, look at that. It's 2018.
Grown-ups, man.
Yeah.
Doing jobs and shit.
Yeah, the real life grind and in-game grind, you know?
Yeah, the more important grind.
Yeah. So, real life, I guess I went down to your place for Christmas.
Yeah. So
we pretty much left after recording, like the next day in the morning or whatever. Last episode, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, then we had Christmas. You got me a chair.
A good old pro gamer chair.
Yeah, that we installed backwards and then dropped the Allen key into the chair. So now the chair's backwards. So like
That's what I don't understand. Like,
what do you mean?
We were screwing in some of the screws with the Allen key.
Mm-hmm.
We had like the chair turned outside, and I think I dropped it, and it went into like the cushion and just disappeared.
Yeah, it went into the abyss.
Yeah, it's not like it's a recliner chair where it falls through it, and there's like this whole fucking, this whole contraption going on behind the scenes of the chair. It's just a simple, it's basically just a simple office chair. So It's gone forever.
Yeah, there's like a metal plate under the cushion, and the Allen key slipped under that, and then we put it on backwards too, so it's like, yeah, and then it's been like New Year's, so everything's been closed. The day before New Year's, I went to go to a Canadian Tire, but they closed at 6 that day for some reason. So, that sucked. And, so what else? Okay, yeah, so that's Christmas stuff. You know, Christmas is always fun.
Good old Christmas.
And I played some RuneScape. So, I guess in like what I did on RuneScape this past week, I did a bunch of Cerberus kills. I'm like 2,223 now, or no, 1,000. Am I at 1,000? 1,223? Yeah, not 2,000. Something like that. I'm like,
it's a fair amount.
1.2k. Yeah. I went like 100 kills dry on a primordial, but ended up getting it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You really complaining about going 100 kills dry on a primordial?
Not really. Because I got one, right? I still ended up getting it, so I'm on kill count for primordials at Cerberus, which is pretty nice. So I did a bunch of Cerberus, ended up getting 94 Slayer in the process.
Nice.
So I bought a bunch of items last month, a bit over a month ago, in preparation for the big update, the big Dragon Slayer 2 update. So I don't want to mention them all because I want to keep my surprises and stuff, but I bought a bunch of items day one, and then this I've been buying passively over this past month, and it's sharks. And I mention this because people speculate this boss might replace Zalra in terms of money making and stuff like that. And, it's a new boss, so food will go up. And so as of right now, I'm mentioning this now because by the time you guys listen to it, I probably would have sold most of it by now, but it doesn't really matter. So I have 89,000 sharks right now.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, which is almost it's like 58.5 mil in sharks.
Damn, dude.
It was super weird because I was looking into it, and when I first started to buy sharks, it started off when I got, or a bit before when I got 99 cooking. I was buying cooked sharks, but I also bought a bunch of raw for 600, and I bought like 20 or 30k raws and got 99 cooking like that. So that kind of gives you like a timeline of when I first started investing into sharks, like around that time. And the raw ones were going for like 679 GP, and I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. And I bought like 10 or 20,000, and then they dropped again to like 60,000, and I was like, what the fuck? So then I bought a bunch more or not 60,000, at 660. And so I bought a bunch, and then they dropped again to like 655 and 650. So I just put a big buy order in for 650, and I've bought a crap ton. And looking at the graph of sharks since April, is this going back January? Okay, no, this is going back a whole year actually, till January 4th until the December 27th. Like, sharks have crashed over 400 GP over that time span. But since the release of, when did they announce Dragon Slayer 2?
Runefest, so September.
Okay. So September, yeah, they're sitting at still about 1K, and then at the end of September, like pretty much when Deadman Mansion started, it's crashed like 300 GP, over 300 GP, and it's sitting at 650. And sharks are like completely crashing for some reason, and as this update comes up, they keep crashing harder and harder. So there's actually a good chance I could get burnt pretty hard on this, but like, I don't really care. I just kind of wanted to, I mean, regardless, I'll make money because a bunch of other items I've already bought have shot up in price. So regardless, I'll be okay, but I was just kind of hoping that there might be a chance these shoot up like 100 GP. If they go up to like 690, that's fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like expecting them to go up to like 1K. That'd be nice, but I doubt it.
You just gotta hodl those.
Yeah. It's just super weird. Like, looking at all the prices of things, they're kind of like, I can't, like, can you think of a reason why they've gone down so much this year? Besides, they nerfed Zalra and added the new shark fishing method, and I don't know if so many people are doing it that that's just slowly killing the price.
I don't know. Like, trying to think about it, maybe there's an influx of them coming in from somewhere, whether it's, I don't know if Revenants drop any.
They drop 10 noted, but it's uncommon, and it's not enough to make it continue going down in price.
But
the only things I could think of, sorry, go.
I was gonna say, the only other thing I could think of is maybe people are just opting to buy different food. Like, maybe for some reason more manta rays are coming into the game, and they're like, well, I could buy sharks or I could buy mantas for only an extra 200 GP. So they're kind of, sharks are going down. They're becoming the new monkfish, and manta rays are becoming the new sharks. You know what I mean? Like, they're kind of shifting down slots. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, well, manta rays, they have been sitting at around 1K this whole month, and actually, as of like yesterday, they shot up like 80 GP. But I mean, that would be really weird because like I've never really bought manta rays. I bought anglerfish, but sharks have always been like just a cheaper alternative, right? It still heals 20 per food, which is really nice.
They were, for me at least, it was like the good food you brought to bossing, or the majority of the food that you brought when you went PKing and stuff. The monkfish
sharks,
was like your throwaways, you know what I mean? The things that you bring them to like your regular Slayer tasks and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's super weird that sharks are like taking the place of monkfish, which kind of sucks because I have like a bunch. But I mean, I think regardless, they'll go up a little bit, and I'm going to sell them on the 4th or the 5th of January. But like, I don't know. It's just super weird. Like the only thing I can think of is either been a lot of bots at Anglerfish not Anglerfish, at the fishing plateau spot, whatever that thing's called, that dock at the fishing guild. There's either like a bunch of bots that have gotten there, or like maybe fishing bots aren't getting banned, or there's like a big pump and dump with merching clans.
Yeah, like there could be. It's the shark coin.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really weird, but I just want to mention that because I don't know. Like most of the items, well, just about every item I was looking at to go up in price have gone up in price. And even like random items that I'm thinking, all right, well, no one knows how to kill this boss, so maybe this item will go up in price too. So I got a couple of, you know what I mean? Like I just started like thinking about day one, you're the average person that completes the quest. Like what, you know, what are you going to buy to try to figure out what works well? And like, shit, DFSs have gone up like 4 mil this month.
Makes sense.
Pretty
and
nuts,
then,
yeah.
Watch when the new boss comes. It has a really rare chance to drop 100,000 sharks.
Oh man, I'd be kind of pissed, but just a
It's
little
okay
bit.
though. It's super rare though. It's not gonna happen often.
1 in 10,000, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, coming off a little tangent there. It just kind of like made me wonder what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, someone has some insight on why they're crashing so hard, because I couldn't really figure out. There's something I'm definitely overlooking. There's someone definitely like facepalming, being like, "Why would you invest? Didn't you know this update did this, which you know changed the new meta of fishing sharks?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much me. So what about you?
Real life. Well, you basically mentioned it. Yes, Christmas. You came down and hung out. It's pretty on par for the course, though. Finally got my PlayStation 4 hooked up. This house is slowly but surely getting there. So we got the living room. We got the PS4 hooked up and the TV. Can finally play some of the games that I haven't played in like months. So I'm jamming some Battlefield 1 and some Fallout 4. Good times are being had there. I just missed my my couch sitting games.
Yeah.
Anyways, that being said, to get into the things that actually matter, you know, the RuneScape grinds. What did I do? I did some Cerberus as well. I think that's where I ended last week. I was in the middle of a Cerberus task. So I think I'm at like 600 kills right now.
Nice.
I guess, but like no primordials for me.
Yep. 100 dry.
See, like, I don't know. Hearing you get the primordials, I just get so... I'm just sit there being like, man, if I got that 20 mil drop, it would be fucking glorious. I could do so much with that money. I'm trying to buy tacits right now, and I'm so close to them, but so far, I'm maybe like 5 mil away from getting them. So nothing there. Did some gargoyles. Some of the gargoyle boss, because I'm hoping to get some big drops there, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Make some money. It's not bad money. It just makes the task take forever. That's the only problem.
Yeah.
The grotesque gargoyles, they're not the worst to kill for money. You get decent profit from them, but...
and you get good Slayer experience per hour, but, you know...
it's slow, and eventually you just get tired of it.
Yeah.
In between that, I'm still doing my farming. I think I just leveled it to 80.
Nice.
So I need to get 83 so that I can get that spirit tree in my house, and then I'm not finished with my house yet, but it's one step closer.
Yeah.
One sec, let me think. Oh, and I finally did the Christmas holiday event. It was all right. It wasn't the worst.
Yeah, nothing special, just a little thing to do for 30 minutes.
It was decent. I appreciated the whole Santa's sack puns, or I don't even know if it's puns, but the goofs there.
Yeah, a lot of little puns and shit. As always, as
you get Santa's sack, you fill it up, and it turns into Santa's bulging sack.
Yeah, exhale out of your nose as you do the quest a couple times. Like, huh, okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But I think that's basically it for my week.
Yeah. I forgot to mention, I did Thermo.
Oh, how'd that go?
Pretty good. It was a task of like 160 or something. Got Dragon Chain on like kill count 20. 23.
Jesus Christ, man. What the fuck's going on with you?
I mean, I was like really lucky when I first started playing this game, but I don't know. I go dry hard in certain things. I just talk about the good RNG, you know?
I've never got something great in like the first 10 kills. And you've had that like 4 or 5 different experiences. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I've
Whether
killed
it's
like
wyverns or fucking...
I've killed almost like every boss though. That's the thing. So you still like if you've done Scorpio or anything like that, Venenatus, you know, go grind those. Might hit a good drop table.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? It's a new year, so maybe it's a new year of being blessed by RNGesus. Yeah, anyways, not much to talk about on my end, and this is our New Year episode after all. I think we should revisit some of our resolutions from last year and see how some of those go. To see how some of those went this year, or last year. So I went back and I went to our old episode and I pulled a clip from us kind of talking about it and visiting on our real life and our RuneScape resolutions. I kind of have them here. I cut them up because we went on, it was like a 15-minute conversation of just bullshit.
Yeah.
We just go on our typical rambles, I suppose. So yeah, I'll play the clip from our last episode. I'll stop them in between and talk about our specific resolutions. But we'll start off with myself and my real life resolution. So here it is. Hopefully, I want to segue that. Okay, well, basically, my New Year's resolution was I want to kill my own turkey next year for Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I want to be able to do that. So that was like, I want to learn how to use a bow and then kind of learn how to hunt. And turkeys, I heard, are pretty basic.
Yeah, so pretty much 99 range and hunting IRL.
So this is my real life resolution. For a while now, I have a bow that I bought used from a friend, and it's a pretty decent bow from what I've been told. But it's just been kind of sitting in storage. What?
Adobe does? Never mind, I was making a bad joke.
Oh, okay, I get it. Sorry,
just continue. Don't.
Sorry, that took a minute for it to click in. I appreciate that joke, though. Anyways, I've had it in storage for like years now, it feels like. It's gotta be at least. And I keep telling myself I'm going to pull that thing out. I'm going to go practice, get it tuned up, and learn how to do some archery. And a while back, me and a friend, we went and took some like a hunting course, basically. And it was just like an in-class thing where you just kind of talk about it. You learn some of the ins and outs. You get your outdoor hunting license, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. So I've been really interested. I've always been interested in hunting. It's just such a hard thing to get into if you've never done it.
Yeah.
Because like you need the equipment, which are super expensive, and you can't just like, I guess you could, but you shouldn't. You can't just like grab your bow and arrow and just like, all right, I'm going to go into the forest and maybe I'll be able to get something.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's probably not going to happen. Most of the time you either know somebody who's a hunter and they take you and that's what gets you into it, or I don't know, how else do you actually get into that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could always just like wing it, right? Just, all right, this is a hunting spot, get your license or whatever, and then you just kind of go for it.
Yeah, but the only problem is like you don't want to shoot a deer and just wound it, right? You want to be pretty good. You know what I mean? You want to be pretty skilled and stuff. So going alone is just, it seems pretty daunting.
Yeah.
So anyways, that being said, I might have picked up my bow, but that was only when I was moving. It's currently actually sitting in my unfinished kitchen.
Nice.
Yeah, my aunt came over and like she's like, "Why is there a bow in here?" And I'm like, "Oh, I want to keep it in the kitchen." And she thought I was like being serious. She was like, "What's the point of having a bow in the kitchen? What are you going to use it for?" So yeah, I haven't really used it. One day. All right, but let's visit my RuneScape resolution of last year. So here we go. I was thinking of getting 90 construction that I said before, but then I thought how cool it'd be to get 99 construction as my first 99. So we'll just say that's my resolution right now, 99 construction. I didn't get 99 construction. I got 83, which is like a step towards 99, I suppose. I mean, the idea of getting 99 construction was to build a bunch of shit in my player-owned house, which I did do.
Yeah, like you kind of only need 83 to build everything that you want. There might be like one or two things that are like useful that you can't, but pretty much 83 is like the the go-to, I guess.
Yeah, that's what most people kind of get to, and then they just boost it up. But the only thing is you don't see much of these anymore because, house parties aren't as big as they used to be. But those dungeons are awesome. You can get like steel dragons in there and hellhounds and shit, but you need to have like a pretty high construction level to get them in there.
Yeah.
Wouldn't mind seeing some more options for monsters down there. That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, that's kind of would be great to get. But anyways, do you remember what your resolutions were from last year?
I have an idea, but I don't really remember, if I'm going to be honest.
All right, well, let's revisit your real-life resolutions from 2017.
I want to say quit smoking, but I've said that before, and it never works out, so I'm going to cut down quite a bit. And I've already, made good progress. Before the new year, I was at, a pack a day, and now I'm, a pack every 2 to 3 days. And hopefully, maybe I'll just end up quitting, but... yeah, slow down on the cigarettes and start learning to cook better food. Yeah,
you know what your resolution should be?
What?
You can cook the turkey next year.
Man, I'd be down.
I'll kill it, you cook it. So how'd you do with those? I know none of us did anything with that turkey.
Yeah, turkey didn't really happen.
It was
cooking
non-existent this year, so let's hear it.
I can cook basic shit. I'm not good at it. You know what I mean? I can't cook anything complex and cook really just basic stuff, I guess. I'm not good at cooking. But smoking, it's okay. I don't know. I want to say yes because on Boxing Day we went out and got me a vape to stop smoking, and I haven't had a cigarette since. I haven't really been tempted. There's actually, at the beginning of this podcast, I was kind of instinctively going for my pockets to have a cigarette because I usually do that at the start of a podcast or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't. I have the vape here, so I haven't had a smoke in I don't know how long, almost a week, 6 days. So I don't want to say I quit. I want to wait maybe 2 weeks from now, pretty much, because the first 3 or 4 days was down at your place. Yeah. And just generally when I'm at your place, I don't smoke that much. So it was really easy. And then I got here thinking my, I have a big habit of just smoking a lot just at my place.
Mm-hmm.
But, I haven't really been tempted. I just go for the vapes, which, it helps me. So
yeah, it's pretty good. I guess I kind of snagged your resolution last year because last February I went out and got a vape and made the switch, and I haven't had a cigarette since. Nice. I would say since about April because I was smoking pot and I would often mix the two. But since April, I think it was, I feel like tobacco's been completely out of my life. So that's good. I kind of snagged your resolution. I like how 5 days into New Year's and you're like, okay, let's get this resolution complete.
Well, the big thing for me is that I actually completely, I didn't even know I made that as a resolution, but my, thing is a lot of the times when I actually did smoke, it was I'm playing RuneScape and I'm in between boss kills or I'm doing this or I'm playing a game of battle right or whatever. I'm in between matches of just whatever game, and that's when I'd go for a cigarette. Mm-hmm. And even I wouldn't want a whole one. There'd be times where I just want to do something with my hands, so I'd have half of one and then put it out. And I just wanted something to do with my hands, and I knew a vape would be helpful for that. And yeah, it has been.
It's an awesome alternative. I always found the big part was kind of the ritual aspect where
yep,
I just really enjoyed having smoking something while I was driving to work in the morning or driving home, but mainly driving to work, and I had my coffee and stuff. All of that was the trio that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
But the vape is a good substitute. If there's anyone out there who's kind of been debating on wanting to quitting smoking and thought about maybe switching to vaping, you still have to be pretty disciplined in the sense that like it's not the same. It's a bit different, but if you are really determined in quitting, it's a really great alternative to have instead, and it helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I know when I've gone into the vape shop, I see a lady come in and she was like, this shit's this is bullshit. I got this vape a week ago and I'm still smoking cigarettes. Like I still crave them a lot. And it's just like, well, you have to really want to quit as well. It's not the same, but it really does help, and it does make it a lot easier.
Yeah.
All right, now I guess we should move on to your RuneScape resolution of 2017. You ready?
Mm-hmm. Yep. My RuneScape resolution is, like, I'm thinking about going for a 99 range first, because that was, like, always my dream when I was younger. That was, like, my favorite thing was to range, and, like, before I quit the first time, that's what my original goal was, so I think I'll, like, go back to that and just try and get 99 range, which, that's pretty easy. And, like, I don't know, I just want to track my account. I want to get the quest cape and stuff and get a music cape. I'm pretty close to both of those.
So, how'd you do with your RuneScape resolution of 2017?
Oddly enough, I got, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have 6 99s.
That's pretty good.
Range isn't one of them, but it's the next in line. I actually didn't even, because there was a point where I was actually going to just chin 99 range, but then I'm thinking, like, man, I cannon every single task and all that stuff for just making Slayer faster, and like I'm 100k from 96 range, so like I've been using my blowpipe at certain tasks as well. I just don't want to like waste the experience from a cannon, so that's like my reasoning of why like I stopped training range at one point. But like from 91 to 95, it's all been cannoning, and like I'm gonna say like maybe 600k of it is from like blowpiping Slayer tasks, but the rest of it's been bossing and cannoning, right? So you can see like passively you kind of get a lot of experience, so I don't really want to dump chins into getting 99 range.
Yeah, exactly. Like I know we talked about this, it might have been last week, about how much passive range experience you do get. Plus there are a lot of tasks and bosses and stuff like that are just, the blowpipe is the most efficient way of killing them. So you find yourself just doing that just to, quickly blast through the task anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess I didn't get that, but I remember wanting just 199. That was my big thing, like last year. And I got 6, so I'm happy with that.
It's pretty good.
I kind of failed my resolution, but not at the same time I didn't really, because I got like I might have even talked about it in the episode, but I was kind of conflicted on which 99 to get, because I just wanted one. But I got a bunch, so.
And you also did get the quest cape.
I did get the quest cape. I ended up losing it though with the new quest that came out.
Yeah.
But I did have it for the majority of, I want to say the majority of the year, and I'll hopefully by next episode I'll have it back, because Dragon Slayer 2 will be coming out,
Oh yeah. You all prepared for Dragon Slayer 2 on Thursday?
Yeah, I've had like all the requirements since they released them. But yeah, I'm all prepped.
You going to do it day one?
I think so.
What's your resolutions this year for 2018?
So this year I have some more resolutions. Some are more ambitious than others.
Okay.
But I'll just start. I have like 3 sections. I have combat, like just overall account stuff.
Is this real life or RuneScape?
This is RuneScape.
Oh, your real life combat.
Spoilers, I don't really have any real life resolutions, because I typically like forget about them the next day. I mean, just
your real life resolution is to do less of real life.
Yeah, exactly. Just focusing on RuneScape this year, No. So for my overall account stuff, I want to get 99 Slayer, and I'd like 126 combat.
Fair enough.
So that's pretty much just getting 99 prayer as well. Pretty much. Those really go hand in hand though. So it's like if I get 99 Slayer, I should be able to get 99 prayer as well. And I'd also like to be able to unlock all the prayers. So Rigor, Augury, pretty much those two.
Yeah.
And those go hand in hand with some other things. So PvP, I'd like to be able to be like confident in my ability to tribrid. Be able to tribrid, not be like really good, but like be satisfied, I guess, with my ability to tribrid.
Yeah. Okay.
Knowing me though, I'll never be happy with it, but I want to be able to like, oh yeah, I'll go fight that guy and not think I'm gonna die. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Like find someone my level with the same gear or maybe a little bit better. Like if I'm in Xerxia and they're in Mystics, be like, it's fine. I can still probably take them. And then another one is, I've mentioned this before, but I want to get my Zerker account started and PK ready. Just have them doing AFK shit while I'm playing my main account. I wasn't sure about Zerker or maxing my Obby Mauler's strength. I wasn't too sure because my Obby Mauler's kind of in a weird place right now, so I took a long break on him. I kind of messed up. But I can still recover it, but it's kind of like a month grind to fix the mistakes I made.
Yeah.
So I just put Zerker there just to be safe, because I might never play my Obby Mauler again. Or I might even turn him into a Zerker, like who knows? I can still do that.
Cool.
And then PVM. So
originally, you're just tackling every aspect of RuneScape this year, aren't you?
Yeah, dude. Instead of just putting like 99 range, and then I go, well, that's not really a smart thing to do for me, the way I like to play. Like I'm being a lot more, well, I say reasonable, but then these are the next things I have. So I have 250 raid kill count.
Yep.
Which, if I'm soloing, let's just average all those at an hour and a half. Like just overall, because the first like 10 will take me like 2 hours probably, you know what I mean? That's like that's a lot of time put in. I originally put 500, but I'm like, if they take like 40 minutes each, you know what I mean? That's still like 400 hours of just raids alone, along with all my other things. So I think that's a little ambitious, but I don't know. I put 3,000 kill count for Cerberus. I originally put 8,000, but I'm like, no fucking way.
Jesus Christ.
I do think 3,000 is pretty reasonable.
I mean, you're kind of halfway there. It's still a lot. It is still a lot.
But I pretty much got that this year, and I wasn't like, I took like a 2-3 month hiatus from Slayer in total, right?
Yeah, you
so
took like
this
hiatus
year
from RuneScape at the beginning of the year. Not the beginning of the year. Fuck, what am I saying? Beginning of the school year.
Yeah, I definitely took a couple hiatuses last year, but and a lot of it is because I just kind of ran out of goals. But that's why I have these set for everything. So 3,000 kill count Cerberus is pretty much double and some change of my current kill count, which I think that's really easily obtainable. But the reason why I say like a bunch of like, instead of like one goal, like 99 range, one, you kind of forget about that, or two, you realize like, for me, the way I like to play, it's not good. So if I have a bunch of other goals that kind of work hand in hand that aren't, like 99 Slayer will always be a good thing to do. Same with maxing your combat. You know, all these things are like pretty basic, definitely. I'd say, in terms of like the idea of them. But my last one is like a huge question mark. It's a really, really big question mark if I could actually do it. And I don't know if I could, because I put this goal in. One, because I don't want to complete everything in like a month, right? That's why I kind of set some like milestones that literally are just hours played, like the kill counts.
Yeah.
So I like got way more progress than I ever expected from last year. I thought maybe I could get 99 range. Or no, I said I could get it, like obviously, but I got, you know, a lot of 99s. My bank value like tripled. You know, I made so much progress this year, so I set this goal, which is the Inferno Cape.
Okay.
And
nice.
I'd really like to be able to get that Inferno Cape by the end of the year. If I like, pretty much, if I'm able to do all my combat and PVM goals besides Inferno Cape, I should be able to do that. Like, the money I would get from 99 Slayer, would go directly to either unlocking the prayers or my combat, or getting 99 prayers, so getting out my combat. Same thing with my kill count on Cerberus. That gives me enough money to buy better gear, or maybe buy those too. And, you know, do the Inferno. My kind of idea is if I have gear that I'm comfortable with trying, and I have enough supplies to do 500 attempts at Inferno, like, I'll get it. 100, like 500 attempts. It took me 5 at Jad. Obviously, Inferno's like 80 times harder, but that was my idea with Jad. I had like, all right, I have enough for 50 attempts. I'll get it in 50. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'll sit down for like a month, and then in all my free time, just sit there and grind out Inferno Cape so I can do it blindfolded. And then, get to the last boss and fuck that up 8 times and And then my last goal,
holy shit,
which is in skilling, like my last skill goal. I probably should put this in like account base, but I don't know. I want to just whatever. I want to get 99 Hunter.
Okay.
That just 99 Hunter because I really like the skill cape, but I did the math before. I think I told everyone about this. You make I think it was like 98 or something mil. You make almost 100 mil from it.
Yeah.
And I can already hunt black chins if I'm doing black chins to that. And I got 150 Impina boxes, which
nice
is enough to bank, to teleport my black chins to the bank. Impina box, if you guys don't know, you can buy these imp boxes. I bought them from the Yanil Hunter store. You can probably buy them on the GE, but whatever. You can buy these imp boxes, and then you can go and capture like those imps that, drop the beads and stuff all around, Gielinor. And they work like chinchompas and shit, right? Like you just place down the box, they'll walk in it, you'll capture them. So, and the good thing is they have.
Christ, sorry about that.
Yeah, it's all good.
I just learned something there. I don't know if this is going to come onto the actual recording, but apparently my smoke detectors will go off if I vape right into them. So there's that. I'm going to open up a door or two.
Nice.
Nice. Fuck, shit, that scared the shit out of me. All right, sorry. You were talking about the imp in the box?
Yeah, they pretty much allow you to teleport 2 items to the bank, and those can be like stacked items. So the whole thing is I'd bring 1 or 2 of those with me into the wilderness. And at every, 100 black chins, I step down to 30 wilderness, and I just use it on that, and it just teleports it. And they get 2 uses. I mean, chances are I'm going to die and lose them and all that jazz, but
it's bound to happen once or twice.
Yeah, before I start the chin grind, I'll see how much money I should make, and how many chins I should get, and then I'll, keep a tab and see how much I lose if I get PK'd and stuff, but... Din's Bulwark, a Serp Helm, and full D'hide, I should be okay. I shouldn't die too much. And you can't bank when you're tele blocked, so...
Oh, solid.
That'll be one issue. So yeah, those are a lot of goals, but if I with these goals and I stick with it and I don't take a 3-month hiatus and shit, because I'm I don't know what to do in the game. What should I do, guys? I got a lot to do, but a lot of it goes hand in hand. The Cerberus will come before the 99 Slayer because doing Slayer. Raid kill count will happen. As if I just get bored of PVMing like that, and then I got black chins for when I just want to sit there and grind a skill. And
Not bad.
Yeah,
that should keep you pretty busy.
Yeah, that's 10 or 11 goals, I guess. But I'd say most of them are directly linked to Slayer, so
yeah.
But yeah, what about your goals?
Let's see. My real life resolutions. Well, firstly, I'm going to need to go on a diet in the upcoming months, because since I went to Montreal at the beginning of November and living in Airbnbs, I've just been eating like shit for 2 months now. And
nice.
Starting to put on the pounds a little bit. So, yeah, I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. I'm going to have to go on a diet, which that's always fun. It's not the first time it's happened, I should say. But I want to get my kind of like my real life on track, because I feel like I've been in kind of a rut for a couple years where like I was renting a bunch of apartments, and every year I'd be changing to a new apartment, and then we bought a house, which was a good idea on paper, but we became pretty house poor, which was kind of expected. But the only problem is I didn't know to what extent, where it kind of prevented me from doing a lot of things, like who knows, maybe joining an archery club, but I can't really use that as a cop-out. But one thing it did keep me was stuck into my job that I'm currently at. It's not that I necessarily don't like my job, but at the same time it's not super fulfilling. And yeah, I just kind of been thinking for a while now that I want to go back to school for something. And yeah, this year, I'm not saying I want to go back to school as my resolution, but I want to kind of get my life figured out and figure out the path that I want to put it on.
Yep.
So we're renting this house now. It's a lot cheaper each month compared to my old house. And plus, when we owned that one, it was kind of falling apart, and there was a lot of money that we had to put into it to get it, like, just keep it maintained. And there's a lot of expenses that were coming up. Like, the roof was just a fucking hack job, and that was going to cost a lot of money. More so than usual, too, because, yeah, shitty roofers, I suppose. And the foundation was starting to go, so you need to get that fixed up, which is expensive. We had a tree growing out of the side of our house, which just kind of grows into the foundation, that's no good. So anyways, I'm in this house. It's kind of, everything's been like renovated and stuff, so it's kind of like a fresh start in coming here, and it's going to be a bit cheaper, so that I probably could go back to school if I wanted to. It would be tough because I would need to work a part-time job I was still able to afford the rent here. But it opens the doors that if I ever want to do it, I can do it. So yeah, this year I'm gonna get things on track there, figure out what it is I want to do. And for RuneScape, it's kind of similar to yours, although not as long of a list. But I do want to get like max I do want to get max combat. That would be really awesome to get. I think this time last year I was stuck on being like some pretty good PK build, stuck at like level 110, 99 attack, 99 strength, 70 defense, that kind of shit. But since then I've changed my mind. I'm going all out. So I'd love to be able to get max combat, but I also want to be able to kind of, like, using that combat, I want to be able to tackle each part of like RuneScape in the sense of like PVMing. I want to be able to be pretty good at raids, pretty good at like every boss out there. When the new raids come out, I want to be able to do that on like day one and being able to, get decent at that and, shit like that, right?
Yeah.
And I would love for by next year to be at least being able to do Inferno. So I want the gear so that I could actually potentially do that. Whether or not my skills to do it is there yet, that's another question. But, it would be great to be able to actually tackle that and have that as a goal, as I'm going to get the Inferno Cape eventually. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to keep it for my RuneScape resolutions. I also want to get good at PKing too. I want to be able to actually go out there with confidence that I'm going to be able to kill some people. And like if I get jumped, I'm not going to have like a panic attack and get killed right away. That I'd be able to actually stand my ground and maybe take on a small team. If you're 126, you got the stats backed up. You just need the skills at this point. Yeah, there's my resolutions. We'll see how those go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good that we set not just one thing, as in I want this to be the resolution, because like if things change, it's like, well, you know what I mean? Not getting it done. But like if you set like general goals that are in different aspects, like skilling and all, or PvP or whatever, or bossing, it will kind of give you a reason to not burn out, because you're like, oh, I hate doing Slayer. Well, I could do Hunter, and Hunter's really not that bad. Like catching chins and stuff, it's kind of click intensive, but it's not boring, right? You just do like a rhythm, kind of. And, all that stuff. Oh, I want to go PKing. Oh, well, that's kind of a waste of time. It's like, well, no, I want to get better at, PKing.
Yeah. And like for skill wise, I don't really know what skills that I want to get to 99. I was thinking I was going to put farming on there, get that to 99, but then like I have a feeling once I get to like maybe like I'm level 80 now, if I get to like level 85, maybe 90, I might start going like, why am I getting it to 99 again? Because I decided to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I'd love to get 82 rune crafting.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to touch that one. But yeah, that's our RuneScape resolutions. Shall we move on from talking about ourselves right now?
Yep.
All right, let's get her. You got anything for us this week?
No news. Literally no news. I'm not joking.
Oh wow, you're actually serious. Okay, I was waiting for the for that joke. Oh, that's no problem though, because this is the end of the year, so there's usually lots to look at. You have a lot of lots to look at, and there's a sense of like going over almost like this year in review. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Comparing this year to the other years. So last week we talked about a data stream that had happened. And ModMattK, did the data stream, and they went over a few of the things in RuneScape this year. They compared some of it to last year, and it's pretty interesting to see. I made some notes and took down some of the interesting parts of it. We're not going to talk about every single chart that they brought up, because some of it, like we talked about before and stuff like that. But I pulled up a bunch of them that I thought were pretty interesting that might be fun to kind of go over.
Yep.
All right, so in the data stream, the first thing we're going to bring up is the in-game gold. In 2016, there was 10.7 trillion in-game gold.
Yeah, so that's from like the start of Oldschool all the way up until like 2016.
Yeah,
all
exactly.
Of Oldschool. Yeah, the whole lifespan of it.
So in 3 years, there's 10.7. In 4 years, so in 2017, we have 16.5 trillion. So it basically went up 6.2 trillion gold this year, which is it's a pretty hefty amount.
Yeah, pretty much like half of the gold generated ever has been generated this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which is it's surprising, but at the same time, it's not the most surprising, because like this game I think this year it's been at its peak.
Yeah, this year the game it's hit 70,000 concurrent players multiple times. So yeah, like it's pretty expected. Like, I don't know, people, like if you played in the early days of Oldschool, there's times where the player base was 20,000, but like 8,000 of those were bots. You know what I mean? Like the game was dead, and like I thought the game was going to shut down, but they like put work into reviving it, and it went from like 20,000 player base, like even less at times, depending on the time of day, to like 70,000, which it peaks pretty high. That's a lot of new players. You know what I mean? Considering like how many more players are playing, like,
yeah,
it's kind of expected.
So that's pretty cool to see. In 2016, that year they banned 1.3 million bots. In 2017, they banned 2.5 million bots. So almost double.
Yep.
That's hard to say if there's more bots playing or if they kind of got better at detecting the bots.
I think it's a bit of both, because there's still a pretty bad botting issue in this game. Go to free-to-play worlds, go to like Fishing Guild, go look at nature runes, you know what I mean? Air orbs, like there's a lot of bots. Because I guess people do see like how much, I guess if you're starting a bot farm, you're like Venezuelan or something, you're trying to make money. Like there's like a lot of potential gold to make and real world trading to do. But they you can't get worse at detecting bots. They obviously have found better ways and whatnot.
Yeah, for the most part. I do know bot programs can evolve. They might be able to get smarter and shit and kind of bypass it. But it seems like they're doing a great job right now. And botting's always been an issue. I'd be surprised if we ever saw a complete zero amount of bots in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully they can keep it kind of under wraps so it doesn't get out of control.
Yeah.
So, with those bots being removed this year, they have successfully removed from those accounts 2.1 trillion gold value worth of items. And GP removed 3.3 trillion.
Yeah. So a lot of these
crazy.
Yeah, it's bots and like real world trading in general. So those guys that go to the sand casino and make a couple bill and get caught trying to real world trade it, or they sell it and then, both accounts that involve do get banned. Like, that's a lot of money being taken out of the game.
Yeah, it's a significant amount.
Yeah.
So there's your little gold value for the year. Next, we're going to move on to his clue scrolls. Some interesting things here. So easy clue scrolls, they're about between 6 to 8,000 clue scrolls done a day. So it fluctuates, as in last January, there might have been about roughly, the average might have been about 6,000, and then it went up to about 8,000 at some point. But it's always been around between 6 and 8,000 done daily. And the value of the easy clues beginning of the year were 4K, and at the end of the year they went up to 5K. So it was only a 1,000 gold difference, but interesting to see there.
Yep.
Medium clues started off the year with 10,000 being done daily and ended the year with 12,000 being done daily. The value went from 16,000 last January to 14,000, which is recently. So that one actually went down 2,000 gold. So this is kind of interesting, and during the data stream, they kind of touch about they don't really know what happened here. But yeah, so the hard clue scrolls, they average about 17,000 are done a day. But in May, it spiked to 45,000 done a day.
Okay.
They don't really know what went on in May for it to cause it to spike up that high.
Teleport scrolls, maybe? Is that when they did they had the book back then, or was that recently?
I can look that up. So that was in July. The Master Scroll book. Like ModMac K said, he went back, he looked on to see what updates came around that time. Nothing too significant. He looked on Reddit to see if anything happened. Nothing really. The only thing he could think of was maybe they released the Scotizo pet a little bit earlier from that date.
That could be it too. Yeah, everyone doing, because you can get hards and elites and stuff from Scotizo. And
yeah,
I know
a hard
there
drops
are people,
every single time.
Yeah, and I know there are people that had like 10 to 30, you know what I mean? Like, they're saving up all their totems because they were waiting for the Scotizo pet to come out.
Yeah?
Yeah. I know a guy who had like 30, a little bit over 30, like 32 or something totems saved up. And he went and cranked a bunch out, got the pet on the first day. I don't know if he did his clues that day, but a lot of people probably did a lot of hard clues that day as well. Because, why not, right?
Yeah, it's interesting. It spiked up to 45,000, so that's almost triple from the 17,000. But, it ended up going, it goes back, it doesn't stay at 45,000. It eventually, and kind of surprisingly quickly, goes back down to 17,000 average done a day.
Weird.
Yeah, a little weird there. But anyways, hards kind of always stayed around being worth about 87,000 gold each this year. So, yeah. Elite clue scrolls. So kind of similar, but there are about 2,000 that are done. There's about 2,000 elite clue scrolls done, and this is starting in January, and then in August they went up to about 2.5 thousand done. And again, a May spike also happened the same time as hards were being as hard. The May spike also happened with elites as they did with hards, and they went up from 2,000 to 4.5 thousand. Yeah. So yeah, in January, elites clues were worth about 160k and down to 140k at the end of the year. So they went down 20k. Master clues, about 1,000 are done a day. The May spike, it went up to 2.7 thousand. And they were worth 450k at the beginning of the year and dropped down to 350k at the end of the year.
Wow.
Or by the end of the year. So those things are kind of bound to happen in the sense that as more of those items come into the game, they're not worth as much, right?
Yeah.
You'll see things like the Third Age, they start dropping down, like, significant amount, but at the same time not. Like, they'll drop like 100 mil, but when they're worth like 2 billion, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
100 mil is kind of pennies. And to sum it all up, though, there are about 40,000 clues done a day, and in May, they spiked up to 75,000. So, pretty interesting stuff there. All right, so next we're going to move on to are the quests. The top 10 quests that were done this year. Okay, and so this is going to be kind of obvious, but we'll just go through it. I have the numbers of how many people actually do it, but I'll just give you the first numbers, and then I'll tell you the last numbers, because no point in going through each one of the 10. So, number 10 on the list of the most completed quest is Vampire Slayer at 300,000 done this year. And then it goes Goblin Diplomacy, Dork's Quest, Romeo and Juliet, Misthalin Mystery, Sheep Shearer, Ernest the Chicken, The Restless Ghost, and can you guess what the most popular quest this year was?
I already know it. I think I know what it is already.
Yeah, okay, let's hear it.
Fight Arena?
No, really?
No? I thought it was Fight Arena. I was looking at something.
Close.
Is it close up? Is it close to that?
Sort of. The quest that was completed the most this year was Cook's Assistant.
Oh, okay.
Which was done 473,000 times. So it makes sense. These are all free-to-play quests because, you know what I mean? They're going to be getting done the most. But, okay, I can see we got the Fight Arena, though. So the top 10 pay-to-play quests, members quests done. They made a separate list because the the non-members are just going to obviously trump the actual members. So here's the members list. Fight Arena is number 10 on that list at 199,000 done this year. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So number 9 is Lost City. 8 is Plague City. And then Animal Magnetism, Grand Tree, Tree Gnome.
Wait, more people do Animal Magnetism than Fight Arena?
Yeah. So Animal Magnetism's at 208,000. So that's 9,000 more than Fight Arena. That's how. Yeah.
Would have never guessed that.
Yep.
But I guess best in slot range cape, so.
Yeah, exactly. Got a lot of pures and shit that are always blasting through that. But then again, Fight Arena is also on there for the same accounts. But anyways, Grand Tree, Tree Gnome Village, Dwarf Cannon, Druidric Ritual, Priest in Peril, and can you guess what the most popular quest done in members was this year?
No idea.
Waterfall Quest at 281,000. I can't even read it right. Holy fuck. I think that's so there's your quests. All right, next we're going to move on to the Inferno. So we did see the Inferno release this year. Really really big milestone they added into the game. So there have been, since release, 104.5 thousand. So let me say that again. There have been 104,500 attempts at the Inferno Cape. Out of those attempts, it has only been completed 2,000 times.
Yeah, and it's funny because the people, like, out of those 2,000, like, a lot of people have done it multiple times.
Yeah, exactly. So, pretty interesting to see. The average time it takes to beat the Inferno is 2 hours. And the best time so far is like a minute shy of an hour. So about 59 minutes.
Dang.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's pretty cool to see. Okay, next we're going to move on to the PvP. So we see about 20,000 people in the wilderness on a daily basis. So since the rejuvenation came out, it went up to 35,000. And it stayed about that amount for about 4 days until it started tapering off, going back down.
Wait, and they said the wilderness is dead? 20,000 people a day?
Yeah, but then you got to factor in 24 hours in a day. However many worlds they have, right?
Yeah, but
members and non-members.
But let's be a bit generous and say like the average there's like 50,000 people on at a time. Let's just say that, or 60. You know what I mean? Like a third of the player base in the wilderness.
But that's on for the whole day. They said so for that day, it's about 10% of the players playing RuneScape on a day are going into the wilderness.
That's still pretty good, isn't it?
It's a fair amount.
Like you look at WoW, I would not be surprised they had less than 10% of their player base doing PvP stuff. I would not be surprised, but
it's hard to say though because there's a lot of people who are going to the wilderness. It might be just rune crafting and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
like
that's true.
Scrolls, stuff like that. But
fishing, because that's a thing.
Yeah. But yeah, with the rejuvenation coming out, it almost doubled. So it went up to 35,000, which it only stayed there for about 4 days before it started going back down. But hopefully next year we'll have to see how well the rejuvenation actually did to the wilderness, right?
Yeah.
Because I think you're the one who brought it up, where most people are kind of just... Actually, sorry. I should have. I was gonna say most people aren't. There's a lot of people coming into the wilderness, but there's also a lot of people who are just who would have been normally killing Callisto and stuff. They just moved to the Revenants instead.
Yeah, better money.
Yeah, so I know you mentioned that, which is a good point. But anyways, that segues to our to the bosses. So I didn't take too many notes here because we have talked about some of the bosses, like the data behind it and the pets and stuff like that before, probably within the last 5 episodes, I'd say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one interesting thing that I did see was with Venenatis and Callisto, they are the 2 most popular wilderness bosses. And they were getting about 1.8 thousand see, I don't know if these are kills or if it was just being attacked 1.8 thousand times.
Probably kills. I don't know how they would track it being hit.
So I think, if I'm not mistaken, because with the wilderness, the PvP in the wilderness... Oh shit, sorry, I kind of fucked this up. Let me... For the wilderness, it wasn't like... It was 20,000 people are doing PvP interactions in the wilderness. So whether you're getting attacked or you're attacking. So the bosses might be something similar. But anyways, they're at 1,800 for Venenatis and 1,600 daily, which dropped down to about 1,000 when the revs were there. It's about half the players who normally were killing Venenatis and Callisto stopped doing that for the 4 days or so that Revenants came out. So... interesting because you're the one who mentioned that, so I thought it was cool to bring up. Next, we're going to move on to is Slayer. So these are the most popular tasks, the most killed tasks for Slayer. So number 10 on that list is Aberrant Spectres, and then it goes Trolls, Ankus, Black Dragons, Greater Demons, Dagonoths, Hellhounds, Fire Giants, Bloodvelds, and the most done Slayer task this year was?
If I had to guess, I'd say Cow Fights.
Oh, and you are correct. Cow Fights were the
Nice.
most popular task this year. So
Suckwas didn't make the list?
No Suckwas.
Really?
You do
That's
need
like
Lunars.
That's true. Okay, that makes sense. Because
That
that's like
might
the
cause
best
it.
Slayer experience. Cannoning Suckwas? It's
Yeah.
nasty. Yeah, it's a really good experience, yeah.
I know personally, I was surprised to see Bloodvelds on there because I have them blocked because they're kind of annoying. But
Yeah.
maybe with the game being as popular as it is, we have a bunch of average level players coming in, and Bloodvelds are pretty good at lower levels.
Yep.
All right, and then next for the Slayer is the least popular Slayer tasks, or the most skipped Slayer tasks this year.
Okay.
So there are some interesting ones on here. So number 10 is Zilliana.
Really?
Yeah, it's interesting to see bosses on there because it's like you have the choice of how many you kill, right?
I guess a lot of people
like-
can't do the boss, or they don't want to learn the boss, I guess. I don't know. I get excited if I get a Zilliana task.
You could put
Love
just,
it.
so I think 3 is the most minimum you can put.
Yep.
So maybe they put a lot of people put 35 because they're like, hell yeah, I'm going to get this Sarah Godsword. They go
That's
there
what
and
I
they're
do.
like, I'm not going to kill this 35 times. Fuck that.
Oh,
They just end up skipping
right.
it.
They get a little overly ambitious, and they yeah.
They kill it 10 times and they're like, okay, I'm not wasting my time with this shit.
Yeah.
I am not grinding out this many kill counts to enter that room.
Yeah.
So anyways, so that's number 10. Number 9, you got Lava Dragons. So I guess they just get PK'd there so often. Fuck it, I'm done.
I've never had a Lava Dragons assignment. Do you have to unlock it or something?
You only get it from the Wilderness Slayer. So again, okay, man, my notes fucking suck. I should have said this is the most skipped percentage wise. So maybe not the amount of players done it, but more
okay, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so
the amount of
if
times
it's
you get it and you end up skipping it.
Yeah, so if it's 80% of people skip Zilliana, it's not. Yeah, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, so Lava Dragons. So yeah, Wilderness Slayer, so it seems like what happens, you get PK'd a few times, and you go, all right, I'm going to skip this task. So not many people might get that task, but a lot of people, a large portion of people who do get it, skip it.
Yep.
All right, so, and number 8 is Krill Tussarath. How do you say that name? The Zamorak demon?
I would say Toot Saroth or something.
All right, you said it. So that's number 8 on there. 7 is Scaberates.
Yep, I have that blocked. Sounds about right.
Same. Vedian.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it is a hard boss, so I'm not surprised.
Hey guys, you can safe spot it. Just bank after every kill. It's so easy.
Yeah.
The safe spot takes
next-
3 attempts, and then you got it down pat. And you can get some
fair
good
enough.
ass money.
But it won't keep you safe from the PKers. Next on the list is Terror Dogs. I've never got that task.
Let me look that up because I have never heard that before. That was a terror dog.
I think it's from RuneScape 3. How'd that get in here?
Okay, they are Slayer monsters that require 40 Slayer to kill. They are first encountered during the mini quest, the Lair of Tarn Razlor. That's where you get the Salve Amulet or something. Tarn's lair, you can unlock the teleport. There's like a thing to do to like imbue your thing or some shit. I remember killing these. I didn't know you get these as a Slayer assignment. Because they are trashy.
Shit, that is bizarre. Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of monsters that like you don't like. I've never gotten, and like it's because you got to do a quest to get it, and most lower levels aren't finishing that quest.
Yeah, up until you're a higher level. Okay,
we're just not going to get it. But anyways, that being said, after Terror Dogs, it is our spiritual guardians or
the God Wars dungeon. Sarah guys.
One of the three. There's a ranger, a mage, and a warrior.
Makes sense. The task is like really slow and it's shitty experience. And dragon boots are now really cheap. I used to do them and I'd walk out like I'd get so lucky on these. I'd walk out with like 2 or 3 dragon boots. And like, okay, that's nice. But I have them blocked now because like the time it takes to get there and the speed, like it's such a slow and shitty experience per hour. Like it's awful.
It is decent money, and you can have it so you don't have to bring any food. You know what I mean?
You just bring the gear and you just whip them, and they're fine. But it's really slow, and it's either you walk out with dragon boots or you've elked a bunch of pieces, like rune pieces or something.
Yeah. That being said, you do need 82 Slayer for the mage. The mage spiritual.
Those are the ones that drop the boots.
Yeah, it's just the magic.
Yeah.
Boots. Yeah. So the other two kind of suck, especially the ranger. So I could definitely see that if you don't have 82 Slayer, you are skipping that task.
Yeah, I have that blocked.
And now for a top 3. So some of these are kind of interesting. Cree Era. Is that how you say that name?
Criera, yeah.
Okay.
Armadillo
it's
God.
Number the Armadillo boss. It is the 3rd on that list, and it is skipped 76% of the time.
Do you have to go through the wilderness to get to Kriara or something? How do you get to her?
No.
God Wars dungeon? I've never done her before.
God Wars dungeon, yep.
Yeah.
It is a pretty hard boss to solo. I've tried it. I know I tried it with 2 people from our CC.
I know
I tried it with 2 people in our CC, and we got our asses handed to us, so...
Yeah, we gotta bring like chins and stuff, and like... Do you have to like click on Kriara, but before you attack, you want to actually attack the melee minion under her because the chin explodes and it it's the damage is based off the defense of whatever the main target is. So you hit the melee guy and it like you splash onto Kriara, but then you have to like after every attack click on Kriara to not like trigger her like one of her effects where she like starts fucking you up.
Okay, fair enough. So after that one, this one is kind of surprising. It's Tazar monsters. It skipped 82% of the time.
Yeah, I skip them quite a bit.
Oh, I always go hard. I either do the Jad or I go and kill them and try to get that obsidian.
The thing is that the fastest way to, if you're killing the high, like if you have the Inferno area unlocked, the fastest way to do it, I believe, is Darok bombing them with 1 HP.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, see, I'm too lazy. Well, I say I'm too lazy, but I'm too cheap. And I just bring max strength and I like prey flick melee so they can't kill me. And that's how I kill them. Or I'll just sit down for like 40 minutes, kill Jag, get some good experience, but I skip that quite a bit.
Yeah, okay, so you're the one who's pumping that thing up there. So our number 1 on the list, what do you think that could be?
I know this isn't it, but I'm going to say Killer Watts because I hated that. That was the worst. That or Crocodiles. I hated those 2 tasks so much. I'd always skip them. I know that's not number 1, but...
Yeah, I'm actually, that's a good point. I hated Crocodiles too, and Killer Watts.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember them hitting
Desert
like a
Lizards
truck.
too?
Yeah, Desert Lizards.
I hated all 3 of those tasks, and I'd always skip them, but I have no idea what number 1 would be.
Kilowatts were cool. I don't think I've ever gotten it in old school RuneScape, but they hit like a fucking truck.
Yeah, you only get them. You have to have Ernest the Chicken done, and you have to be like a low combat level, Slayer level to get them.
Yeah, Fair enough. Okay, well, number 1 is, and I'm sure this won't surprise you, but there are water fiends. Skipped 90% of the time.
You know what? I've never gotten water fiends as a task.
I've gone them 5 times or so, and I tried to do it once, and I ended up skipping them because they don't drop anything too good, and they're just kind of a pain in the ass because you can't, like, AFK them completely.
Wait, why not?
I'm pretty sure they do, if I'm not mistaken, they do, like, 2 different types of damage.
It says magical and magical ranged.
Oh, maybe could pray against them.
I've gotten, like, pyre fiends and stuff. It's funny because in RS3...
At higher levels, you get the water fiends instead.
Yeah, I just got pyre fiends in one day, just never got fiends again. Yeah, it's kind of weird because in RS3, what I would do is use my daily vampiric aura bullshit, and then I would AFK in full Guthans and grind these.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and you just would not die. And they were, like, decent experience. And it was, like, really AFK. Maybe I think I used Guthans. I know I only did it with the vampiric aura. Because then I would never die. Like, I'd always be at full health. So maybe it was just max strength gear that I had at the time. But, yeah, that's...
Fair enough.
Yeah, looking at their drop table, it's pretty trash.
Not the worst, though. I'm looking at them like, why do I skip these all the time? Like, I'm pretty cheap. I'm pretty sure I would just grind these out, but...
Walk out with, what, like 100k if you're lucky?
Oh, man.
Like,
I don't know.
on the uncommon table, you're, like, hoping for a Mystic Water Staff, a Rune Medium Helmet, or Watermelon Seeds. You know what I mean? Like, 14 Watermelon Seeds. Like, I don't know. It's kind of a bad loot table, but... Oh, they have Renar Weeds, but whatever. Then we can move on.
Everything has that. Anyways, moving on to items now from the data stream. So we'll go through the most items. The most of, like, one specific items. There's a list of 10. And I'll give you the number for number 10 and the number 1. I'm not going to go through all of them. So number 10 on that list of the most quantity of an item, it is platinum, sitting at 3.3 trillion. Platinum,
wait, is this
if you don't know,
or 2017?
2017.
Okay. I don't know why they came out in 2017. Don't even know why I asked that. Sorry, go on. Yeah, I don't think they were there last year. I don't think. I have no idea.
Yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, if you don't know, platinum, it's basically you can use your GP on a bank teller and you can swap your GP for platinum, and I believe one platinum costs 1k.
Yep.
So it's a way for stakers and people who have a high amount of gold to kind of go past the cap of, what is it, 2.15 billion?
2.147, something, yeah.
Yeah. So it's for you to kind of have more gold in the name of platinum. But anyways, after platinum, it is flax, then earth runes, water runes, tokel, pure essence, mind runes, air runes, fire runes, and do you know what number 1 is?
Shit, I was waiting for you to ask, and I was thinking probably fire runes, but...
It's a pretty easy one, I'd say.
Feathers?
Yeah, you're right.
Nice.
Feathers. And there is 17.3 trillion feathers in the game.
Jesus.
That's a lot. All right, so now we're going to go the most value in a specific item. So how many... Do you get what I mean by when I say that? Like, with the amount of an item and how much they're worth, the list of the value of that one item that are in the game.
Wait, what do you mean? Like the highest? Like if I don't know what you mean.
This is a top 10 list. Top 10 list of value in one specific item, and it's taking into consideration how much are out there in the game.
Okay.
So feathers, there's a lot of feathers, but they're only worth what, like 2 GP each?
Yeah.
So there's like 34 trillion gold value of feathers in the game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so number 10 on that list, are Elysian spirit shields.
Okay.
Number 9 is primordial boots. Then Bando's chest plates. Dragon warhammers. Sarah god swords. Unholy books, which is interesting, which is number 5 on that list. After that are Bando's tassets. Number 3 is twisted bow. Number 2 is platinum, and number 1 is gold. GP, gold pieces. So all pretty obvious on there. Like, I'm sure no surprises. The unholy book actually did catch me a little bit off guard.
Yeah.
It's one that kind of stands out there, so that's pretty interesting to see. And lastly, for our items, a top 10 list of the least amount of items in the game of a specific item. So these are kind of interesting to see. It's kind of this is a fun list. I like this one. So number 10 on that list is broken Inferno Capes. There are 4 of them in the game.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next is milky tea in posh cups. There are 3 of those in the game in total.
Is that from construction?
Yeah, that is construction. So the posh cup, I believe you need 67 construction. It's from a teak shelf. So with a milky tea, you add a bucket of milk to your tea, and all that does is change the image of it and the drink text, but it doesn't do anything else. Like, it doesn't change the stats that you get from it or anything like that. Yeah, interesting. There's only 3 of those in the game.
Yeah.
Next on the list is pink goblin armor. So there's only 3 of those in the game as well. Next is flat packed gilded dresser. Only 3 of those in the game as well. So flat packed means you could, like, in construction, instead of building a dresser in your player-owned house, you could build one. I think it's on the craft table, and you could potentially sell it on the GE, right?
Okay.
I think I'm getting that right. Yeah. Next on that list is Elysian sigils. There's 3 of those in the game. So I guess most people instantly make them into the shields and sell them. Or
there's probably like some Iron Man with the sigil just in his bank waiting for the spirit shield or whatever to attach it, and the blessed whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Probably just like waiting for those drops. He's really lucky but unlucky at the same time.
Yeah. Next on the list is non-milky tea. There's 2 of those in the game. Next is bowl of fish. 2 of those in the game. So bowl of fish is a reward purchased from Marin's Market on Fossil Island, the mermaid.
Yeah,
And
that makes sense.
When you consume that bowl of fish, you have a chance of getting between 1 and 3 quantity of shrimps, anchovies, sardines, tunas, lobsters, swordfish, shark, oysters, unidentified fossils, nummulites, manta rays, and sea turtles. So I guess nobody's really taking that method.
Makes sense though. It's a pretty trashy item.
But 2 of them in the game? Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
So number 3 on the list is Green Man's Ale. There is only 1 of those in the game. Next is Milky Nettle Tea. Only 1 of those in the game. And number 1 on that list, it's basically all the different types of kegs of beer.
How do you get the kegs?
I believe they are dropped by there are drops from different monsters. There's Blackguards, Blackguard Berserker, Dagonoths, and Warrior. The Warriors on Relica. And you can also buy it from in the Relica Long Haul. So during the data stream, he said it's basically like, he said, I'm pretty sure, at least I hope I'm not getting this wrong, that one player basically has 1 of every single keg of beer. And that's the only player that has them. So that's pretty interesting. There are also a lot of other items that are kind of like really low rates. Like there's 1 of this item and 2 of that item. that didn't make it on the list, but this was just kind of picked from that kind of stood out and were kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think it's pretty neat. You know that there's some guy complaining about bank space, yet he's got a cup of milky nettle tea, a keg of beer, a pink like, hey, you never know when you're gonna need it, right, guys? And he's just holding on all this junk, but he's the only one with it.
As soon as I get rid of this pink goblin armor, there's gonna be a quest that comes out where I need to get pink goblin armor. But it's kind of interesting that you can make this like obscure item, and you could be the only person in the game that has it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. It's pretty cool. RuneScape's a huge game, and I always thought that like there's got to be multiple items of everything. But one thing I would be interested in, and I don't know if it would have made it on this list if it was, but if there are any items that nobody has, you know what I mean? Like if that one player got rid of their milky nettle tea, would it have made it on the list that 0 players have this item?
I don't think so. There's definitely items that people just don't have.
No, one person in the game has that you could acquire that just nobody has one.
Yeah, there's definitely one. Think about how many items are on the game, how many quest items. Like the fact that you get nettle tea for like a quest, but you can put milk in it, and then like now you're banking it for some reason. You're gonna do the quest later. Like the POH, posh tea. You know what I mean? Like that's so random that like I like it. I think it's pretty cool. But there's definitely some super obscure item that we'd all go, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. It also makes sense why no one would ever have one, right?
Yeah, fair enough. And I'm sure it gets tricky with all the quest items that people get rid of. And
yeah. Like, if Cerberus didn't drop ashes, you know what I mean? Who the hell would have ashes in their bank?
Yeah, exactly. So that's interesting, though. That's it for the items. And finally, to close off the little data stream they had rolling, it is the skills. So not a whole lot of information, but the average total level in 2016 was 1,039. The average total level of 2017 is 1,106. So it went up about 60 levels average.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it's still pretty low that the average player is, which is good. You don't want a high total level of that's average.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2016, people leveled up 305 million times.
Collectively, right? Like, yeah, everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, if you gained a level 1 in farming, and then you gained another level in farming, then you gained another level in strength, that's 3. So that would get added to the list. In 2017, people leveled up 346 million times collectively. So went up about 40 million. In 2016, there was a total of 8.9 billion experience earned. And in 2017, there was a total of 12.9 billion experiences earned.
Damn.
So yeah, lots there. I have a picture that I'll upload on our Discord and in our Twitter and Facebook. Sure, let's get that going there too. And it's a picture of the average RuneScape player of 2016 and the average RuneScape player of 2017. So it just shows it of all the different skills and stuff like that. So you can see kind of how things have changed and what the lowest is. Can you guess what the lowest skill average is?
Rune crafting?
Bingo. Yeah, exactly. It's rune crafting. So no surprises there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of neat looking at the like average or the average total level and stuff. Like I just pulled it up now, the image of it. And yeah, there's some things like I didn't really expect.
Yeah, anything worth mentioning?
I didn't think Hunter would be so low, but now looking at it, I go, I mean, not Hunter, sorry, farming. And then I go, oh, okay, that makes sense. Because even I'm not even, like, I can't be bothered to freaking hunt, you know what I mean?
Hunter farm.
Farm, sorry. I don't know why I keep mixing those up. They're both, I guess pretty low on this lower of the skills. But like thieving, I don't know why thieving is such a low level. Thieving's like I think a pretty well done skill.
Sucks.
You can AFK spam click a button on the knights. You can do pyramid plunder. You can blackjack. Like, you know, there's all these different methods that are completely different with different rates and focus and AFK ability and rewards too.
Yeah, but then again, I'm sure people get tired and like don't want to thieve that much. You know what I mean? They probably get burnt out.
Same with like fletching though. I would expect fletching to be a lot higher.
Yeah.
Because fletching and cooking are like the easiest 99s to get, and you can make money from both of them. Like fletching, if you do longbows, sure it's slower than darts, but you're walking out with some nice money.
Well, I bet if you compared 2007 with 2017, it would be completely different. Because I remember in 2007, people like 99s were like impressive to get, and most people would go, and like they're still impressive to get now, but you're seeing quite often that like I'm probably like a very common case where my first 99 was strength.
Yeah.
Most people are getting their melee combat stats and stuff like that as their first 99.
Mm-hmm.
While back in the day, it was a lot more common to have people getting their cooking and fletching to 99 first because they were very fast to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like looking at this, the highest level is HP, then it's strength, like 69 HP, 67 strength, 63 attack, and 63 range are tied. And then what, 55 defense? Yeah, it's like, oh no, 63 magic and then 55 defense. Yeah, it's all combat skills that are the highest. But it's weird though,
and I think
what about all the skillers? Is the skilling community not as big? I'd expect that to like ruin the average like hard.
Well, I'm pretty sure the average player is someone who comes home from work or they come home from school or something like that, and they just, instead of spending their 2 to 3 hours off, which is being pretty generous, it's probably a lot less than that, but instead of spending it in the bank fletching, they're spending it getting their combat up because, especially at lower levels, that's what's most fun.
Yep.
And then, like for me personally, I did focus on my combat more so than my skills, but then as I got a higher level, I started kind of taking turns on leveling up skills that I needed and skills that I wanted to train, and everything kind of leveled out.
Yeah, see, I remember being a lower level and I would train my stats, like I got 40 base stats, and then I would go and grind the money for full rune, and then I'd go wear it and continue training, and then at like 60, you know, get dragon legs and stuff like that, then continue. And so on and so forth.
Yeah,
except for like, you know, by the time I hit 75 defense, I might have already had enough money for bandos. I think around that time was when I got that AGS PK with my buddy. And then, because they were like 40 mil at the time. It's so weird to think they're like 20 mil now.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah. And, yeah, I was always I've always been like, oh, I want to stop and grind out like the money for a certain stat. So I've always kind of skilled. I've skilled like a decent amount. I'd like to think at least.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of bound to happen. You know what I mean? As you get tired of combat and stuff like that, and you want to get your other skills up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny. I remember back in the day, like 2005 era, like I had this mindset where if your highest skill was a combat skill, you weren't a true RuneScaper. If you were a true RuneScaper, you had to have a non-combat skill as your highest skill. I remember actually thinking that, where I'd like grind out my wood cutting to like 95, and like you'd look someone up on the high score and you'd be like, huh, his highest skill's strength? That guy's not even a real RuneScaper.
Yeah.
Kind of gatekeeping there, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think cooking was my highest. Cooking was, but that was just because I needed money. So what I would do is fish like 1.3k lobsters, cook them, sell 1,000 cooked lobsters, and then I'd go and kill random shit with that money. Go buy some gear.
Yeah, fair enough.
Get scammed maybe.
Iron Man life. Good stuff.
Yeah. I really hoped they had a how many bonds were bought.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. They probably wouldn't though, because people look how much money Jagex is getting. Oh, we need better updates.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, it was kind of interesting. All of this number fluctuated a lot, but Mod Matt K, he asked the chat to kind of translate when we were talking about the item quantity list of how much value they were worth. So the Legion Shield list, that the number one was GP. Obviously, that's the highest gold value.
yeah.
Item is just gold. He asked people in the chat to convert that. If it was to all be real world traded, how much would it be worth?
Mm-hmm.
And see, it fluctuated, but like there were numbers like $50 million all the way up to $200 million.
Damn.
So, if someone in Jagex wanted to be real cheeky, hack everyone's account,
steal all
sells
the
it
money
real
from
late.
everyone, put it on one account, and then sell it back to the community. And then they can buy Jagex back from the Chinese overlords.
It's quite a conspiracy.
Yeah.
We'll have to keep our eye out on that one. If you ever get hacked, start checking the JMods Twitter's accounts. Or maybe Instagram, see if they start buying like a helicopter or something.
Yeah, you'll see like Mod Jed with like 89,000 sharks that are mine. He's an asshole.
Here in my garage with my Lamborghini. Shit. But yeah, there's the data stream. Pretty interesting. If you want to check it out, it's on YouTube and stuff. It's about 45 minutes long or so, but it's pretty interesting. But I talked about basically most of the things that were there. Yeah, so yeah, it's been a pretty slow week for news. Did you see anything going on in the community this week?
Not really. Did you?
No, not really either. It seemed like a pretty slow week. Nothing too interesting. Yeah, this isn't really that relevant, but I'll mention it anyways just because why not? There's a YouTube channel called The Game Grumps, and they just kind of do Let's Plays of just random games, and it's kind of your typical two people play, or one person plays a game and there's another person there, and they just kind of talk and make jokes and stuff like that. I enjoy watching some of their series and stuff like that, but whatever. The reason I bring it up though is because they started doing a Let's Play basically of old school RuneScape.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting. They obviously aren't too familiar with the game, and if you are familiar with them, they're not always that good at video games. They kind of skip through tutorials and then get frustrated that they can't figure what to do.
Okay.
Or how to do something, so it is what it is. But yeah, they started playing it. They have that series going on right now, but they are a pretty popular channel on YouTube. They have about 4.2 million subscribers. So that's a pretty cool advertisement for RuneScape, I'd say.
Yeah.
So if you do want to check it out, it's on YouTube. Be prepared to kind of pull your hair out if you're expecting to see some cool RuneScape Let's Play action going on. It's more on the lines of takes them like 4 episodes to get off Tutorial Island.
Yeah.
And some people find them obnoxious and stuff, which I can totally understand. So it's definitely not everyone's cup of tea, but I just thought I'd bring it up because you see these sometimes where like a popular Twitch streamer will play RuneScape for the first time and it'll be getting like 20,000 new viewers are watching this guy play old school RuneScape who might not usually, like we see with Deadman mode and stuff when the Twitch channel will spike up to a high view count.
Yep.
But these people are actively kind of searching for old school RuneScape for the most part. You'll have some people stumbling across being like, oh, what's this?
Yeah.
Oh, this looks interesting. But when you see things like these YouTube channels that are pretty big that don't normally play these type of games, or these Twitch channels that do the same thing and they get decent views, there's a lot of people who are just watching the content that creator puts out or that creator plays who might not have ever played RuneScape.
Yeah.
So these could be fresh new players that are like, maybe I'll give this a go. So pretty cool to see that there.
Yeah.
And that's basically it for what's going on in the community that I had seen. But, again, this is our New Year or our 2017 review of Old School RuneScape. So I figured we could kind of do maybe like a a best of list for some categories for the old school RuneScape this year. Wow, what a weird way of saying that. I kind of butchered it. But anyways, you get what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. So I came up with a few categories with some of the updates and stuff that we saw come out this year. And I thought maybe we can go through them and maybe see what you would pick as number one.
Okay.
And afterwards, maybe we can throw them on some type of poll. We can throw them on Twitter and stuff like that to see what, you guys listening, what you guys would choose. Just kind of like maybe a best of 2017. All right, so I made a few lists and I kind of pick and chose some things that I thought would fit on it. Okay, so the first category I'm going to bring up here, it's the biggin. Some of these lists can kind of get kind of long, so I apologize for that because I went through all the updates that came out this year and try to compile something. So with the categories we have, there are 7 categories. Some lists are just going to be longer than others. So the first list is the best content or the best update of 2017. And this doesn't have to mean like the most popular. I want to hear what you think is your favorite, what you think deserves the number one spot for best update for best content / update. Mm-hmm. All right, so I have listed here Raids, the Chamber of Xeric, Fossil Island, the Inferno, Revenant Caves, Mage Arena 2, and Gargoyle Boss. The grotesque gargoyles. Mm-hmm. So what do you think deserves the number one slot for that?
I would probably say Raids, but see, I'm a little biased in that because like I went, oh man, that's some new content for me to like, strive for, I guess. I mean, Mage Arena, all that stuff, like, that's off, well, Mage Arena 2, well, I'm not a big fan of that, but,
You don't think that deserves to be the best update of the year?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know, my opinion is probably, like, very different from everyone else, though, because I'm kind of thinking, like, when like Raids came out, that was like, oh sweet, I have something to like strive for. It's like quote unquote end game content. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's what I got really excited about the most. But yeah, what about you?
That's a good answer because like they were really well done. A lot of people were really excited for that, and plus like what I liked is it promotes playing in a group with other people.
Yeah.
Sure, you can do it solo. But, it's probably a lot better to have a few other people with you. So I totally agree there. My choice, which, again, probably the second most obvious answer, is going to go with the Inferno. In the sense that a really well done update, a new milestone for RuneScape players to hit. Yep. And as we saw before, not many people are getting the Inferno Cape. But what I thought, the thing that made it my number one choice is that when it first came out, the Twitch channels like that were streaming them trying to get the first Inferno Cape were getting a lot of views. Like they were pretty popular. A lot of people were watching them. And on top of that, the fact that it took like 3 days before someone was able to complete it.
Well, before Wooks was able to complete it.
Was he the first one to complete it? Oh, yeah, he was. Yeah, which I find pretty unbelievable, to be honest.
I mean, imagine if Wooks wasn't around.
No one's got it to this day.
No, it definitely would have been done, like, that day. But, it was really cool to, like, watch everyone, like, all the streamers for, like, 2-3 days, like, RuneScape dominating, like, the front page of Twitch. Like, massive, like, Bodhi and stuff getting 50,000 views. And I found it really fun. It got one of my buddies, like, to try out RuneScape from, like, that stream. Or from, like, that ordeal, that update. But it was really fun to watch, like, Bodhi fail, and then all of a sudden, people are like, oh, V the victim's, like, on Jad. You know what I mean? He's on triple Jats, and everyone's, like, jumping between a bunch of streams, and you'd watch, like, the counts go from, like, 10,000 to, like, 50,000, depending on what wave they're on.
Yeah, because you're like, is this guy going to be the first one to beat it? Because everyone wants to be there for when that happens, and then they die. Everyone's like, fuck it, I'm leaving. I'll be back in another hour. Okay, so cool. The next category I have here, the best free-to-play update of the year. So I got a handful here. Because we did see a free-to-play players getting a lot of love this year, which is really nice to see. So, nominees are energy potions being released for non-members, the Skull Scepter the Skull Scepter imbued. If you didn't know before, it would break after use, and you would have to go get all the parts again. So now you could just keep it and just get it charged. Castle Wars becoming non-members. Zamorak robes being released. The Corsair's Cove. And with the Corsair's Cove, this got to separate these two, but maple trees being able to be cut in non-members.
You want to hear something funny?
Sure.
Completely forgot you could cut maple trees in non-members until now.
It's because of that new update.
Yeah. Didn't really know that existed, but wait, was Obor not this year?
Nope, that was October of 2016.
Wow. All right. I'd probably have to go with Castle Wars. I'm not a big fan of Corsair's Cove, and I'm not a big fan of the Skull Scepter. But I can see why they did it. I just don't agree with them.
Like, you think they should not have been released at all for non-members?
I think Corsair's Curse, like, I mean, okay, I understand Hill Giants was super packed and stuff like that. Like, I have a free-to-play account that I don't remember the name of now. I can't log into them anymore, but I tried logging into them like a couple days ago. But I just found, like, I know, like, I guess it's good to give more content or like new content to like free to play members, but the big thing that I'm kind of against it is, or the big reason why I'm kind of against is that, like, the thing that made Hill Giants was nice because, like, you're kind of forced to be social and all that stuff, but also, like, I don't know. Like, if you are, like, generally, like, you jump in, like, you're limited in free to play and it makes you want to go to members and stick around. I don't know. It's just, like, I find that content kind of gave more of a reason for free to play members to just stay free to play and then quit. Does that make sense?
This is Corsair's Curse?
Yeah, with the ogres?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could kind of see that, but I see it more of it gives people, like, able to grind out bonds a little easier if they want to do it through combat.
Yeah, but no one really, like, not many free-to-play people will grind out bonds. The only thing is that, like, the ultimate goal of free-to-play is to, like, tease the player into wanting to become a members. I don't know. I think free-to-play is, like, really good already. Like, I thought, like, before all of that, it was already really good. Because the whole point of it, it's like a demo for an MMO. Yeah. You know what I mean? But, like, there's no, like, wow, you play till 20, you can't trade people, you can't whisper people. Diablo, you get to, like, level 10 or something. Like, I mean, it's an ARPG, it's not an MMO. But, I don't know. Like, they had Obor come out last year. Like, I think free-to-play is good, and it's fun. Like, you want people to kind of run around aimlessly and then just eventually become members. It's kind of, I can't really, like, articulate my thoughts right now, but, like, it's kind of hard for me to, like, describe
I get
exactly
it,
what
but
I mean.
There are a handful of players that enjoy free-to-play and they only stick there. And I guess this just gives them something new they can go check out, a new area for the high-level free-to-play accounts to go grind some monsters. But also,
yeah,
there are a lot of players who play strictly on bonds, and that first bond is always such a struggle to get, which could you either make or break the experience, and then once you get to members, you can kind of, you know, uphold that bond a little easier.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's not like it's not like a horrible update. It's just kind of like I don't know. It's not like it's a big deal or anything about them giving more content to free-to-play players. Like, it obviously, like, I see why they do it, because it, you know,
A lot of this I feel
Make
like
some-
is geared towards mobile being released.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like I don't know. I think just like a lot of our more fond memories of when we first played, because keep in mind that free to play members are, well, one, they're bots, but two, they're people that have like never really played the game before. And so they do a lot of dumb stuff. Like, I could imagine there was somebody who kind of enjoyed grinding out skull scepters to teleport. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
To get to flesh crawlers, or I guess they wouldn't really go to flesh crawlers, but they go to Ankus or something and grind those. And they kind of like take away the, like that specifically kind of took away the ability for someone to be like naive and like not efficient. They kind of pushed them into like a more of an efficient way of like, you do it once, now it's permanent.
Fair enough.
But none of the updates are bad though. I'm not saying these updates are shit.
Yeah.
I'm like just saying Castle Wars, I like it a lot because it's just a way for players to kind of have some fun and wear a rune and never die when they're capturing the flag.
Yeah, like that's pretty cool. Not only that, like free to play players now have a new place where they can kind of, mess around with. I mean, they did get Last Man Standing. I think free to play is getting a little bit greedy with the mini games, but I joke. But at the same time, you have a lot of member players who will go to free to play the Castle Wars there instead because it's a different dynamic.
Yep.
So yeah, your number one choice is Castle Wars?
Yep.
See, this is tricky, but I would have to go with energy potions because I hate walking. It's so brutal. And the fact when I found out energy potions, it blew my fucking mind. I only found out like maybe a couple weeks ago. And it blew my goddamn mind. So I'm gonna go with energy potions because that's glorious to have that in free to play. I probably would never be a member if I didn't have to. The only thing that made me buy membership was that I couldn't fucking run around nonstop.
Get those staminas, dude.
Yeah, level 3, spend some real life money and buy like 1,000 staminas.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Let's see. The next category is Best Quality of Life Update of 2017. All right, so try to remember these. It's a little bit of a hefty list.
Okay.
I'll go through them. Shift click to drop. Teleblock timer. The change to the teleblock timer. So it's always a 5-minute teleblock.
And wait, with that update, they changed, they made it so when you teleblock, you actually know when you teleblock. Like, they made the animations different and they gave a different experience, right?
Right, yeah, exactly.
With that update? Okay, because at one point, it was like you could never really tell until you couldn't teleblock them.
And if you remember, a byproduct of that was people couldn't just drink a potion and log out and then log back in to get that boost to stay at the top level.
I thought that came along with prayer boost or the prayer, the 55 prayer. I forget what it's called right now.
Preserve. I thought
Preserve
came out because of the teleblock time. You know what? I'm not too sure anymore. I could be wrong on that. That's what I always thought though, was that the way they changed teleblock to work that way, they had to change the way all timers kind of worked. I don't know though. But anyways,
I don't know.
Yeah, so teleblock timer. The PKing kills to death ratio interface. So now it would actually give you an indicator when you're in the wilderness, like your kills to death if you want it to. A timer being added to your bank pin when hopping worlds. So you didn't have to change your bank pin every time you went to a new world. You didn't have to put it in.
Yep, and if you don't have that, go talk to your banker.
Yeah, you can change
your local banker.
Yep. A handful of pet options being toggleable. So like I think it was like sound effects and like clicking on the pet to like talk to them by accident. A hotkey being added for when destroying an item. So you didn't have to just click yes every time. You could just type, I think it was 1 or maybe a W or maybe a Y. being able to remove placeholders in a specific tab. The interface for the jewelry box for the player-owned house, and it came with a bunch of hotkeys. The world map being added. Make all interface. Automatic collection of ammo and rune. So it goes right into your pouch or your ammo slot if you already have it equipped. 16 additional bank spaces. And being able to hide and remember your username from the login screen. So those are all the nominees for the quality of life updates of the year. What would you choose? It's quite a bit there.
I'm kind of torn because shift dropping is something I use all the fucking time.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
But hopping worlds without having to change bank pins is disgustingly amazing. Like, it is so good. It is like, oh my god, it's so good. Like, after we talked about it one episode, I went ahead and just did it. 'Cause I'm like, I'm gonna forget if I don't. Yeah. And like, it's so nice. Like, if I gotta swap spell books, go to 330, go to the housing portal, swap at someone's house, go to my bank, you know what I mean? I don't have to keep re-entering my pin 30 times a day.
Yeah, or like PKing in the wilderness, because you might have to go back to the bank after going, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're world hopping all the time when you're PKing.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard because the teleblock thing is super nice now that I've started PKing. I can't imagine throwing a teleblock that's just inherently half TB because of just bad timing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's so many of them that like I really like, but I'm probably gonna say the bank pin, to be honest.
Bank pin timer.
Shift dropping is nice, but I do, like, there are a lot of times where I still don't do it.
Oh yeah.
Just out of habit, right? And I do think it's little overpowered, or it's pretty fucking overpowered, to be honest. Yeah, I'll have to go with the bank pin thing.
It's a pretty solid choice. There's a lot of pretty good quality of life updates we saw. So like the shift click drop, the bank pin timer, the make all interface was a nice looking one.
Yeah, that was.
And I think my number one choice is going to be the world map.
Oh, right.
I'm choosing that one too because sure, you had like a lot of clients that offered that, but it was so lame to have the RuneScape client not have its own world map, especially for how big RuneScape is.
Yeah.
I've played this game for like on and off for 14 years, and I still have to open the map to find something sometimes.
Yep.
So I can't even imagine new players coming into this game and being like, how big or how small is this world map? Or is this world?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of good options. Again, there's no rules to this list. You can choose it for whatever reason you wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so next on the list is the item of the year for 2017, the new unique. So I have a list of uniques here. We'll go through them. Dragon Claws, Twisted Bow, Ancestral Robes, Chaotic Maul, Din's Bulwark, the Dragon Hunter Crossbow, Dragon Throwing Axes, Rigor, Augury, Obsidian Armor, Inferno Cape, Wyvern Visage, and Mage Arena 2 Cape. Obviously, I've left some of the uniques out because there are a lot. I didn't want to over-exhaust all of these categories. So I just kind of picked the ones that I thought were good nominees for the year. And if you have any, let me know that I missed.
You said Inferno Cape, right?
Yeah, Inferno Cape.
Okay. I'd probably go with Inferno Cape.
Inferno Cape?
Yeah. One, I don't even care that much about it being better than the Fire Cape, but it's like the fact that it's such a prestigious item and it's so hard to get.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of like redundant, but you know what I mean? Like it's I don't know. It's really neat. You don't see them that much, and whenever I do, it always catches my eye.
Yeah,
like,
it's a head turner. It's
Inferno
like
Cape. Cool.
it's like the new party hats for old school RuneScape. The way some of those discontinued items work in RuneScape 3 or back in the day of RuneScape, where you would see somebody, you're instantly like, "Whoa, let me look this guy up on high scores." So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a tough one. I wanted to try to pick something different and go like Din's Bulwark. I like how that item is super unique for what it is.
Yep, I like how I feel like Din's Bulwark was like another item I was really thinking of. I like how it's kind of like the answer to I want to skill in the wilderness. I want to hunt black chins or something or whatever, kill Venonators, but I don't want to just get fucking ragged by people. Well, not ragged, but killed by people the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do? And it's nice that it's like, well, here's Din's Bulwark. It's like an item that, I mean, you don't get the passive from it in PvP, but you do get the defensive stats. That's what makes it so good.
Yeah, exactly. So just to be a bit different, I think I'll go with Din's Bulwark, even though I do agree with you, the Inferno Cape is one of the coolest items in the sense that, yeah, you see someone, you're going to like probably look them up on the high scores or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
You're going to check them out. And yeah, and if you see a low level with it, you're just like, what? That motherfucker. Mm-hmm. But what I like about Din's Bulwark, though, is I'm hoping it opens up some unique features in the future, as in maybe with Raids 2, we'll see somebody who has to fulfill the tank role for the raids.
Yeah.
And you'll be bringing that with you, where you're not going to be doing as much DPS because there needs to be a designated tank. And that would be pretty cool to see. All right. So next on the list is the best event of 2017. All right, so there's a few lists here, and I kind of, with Dead Man Mode tournaments, I kind of put them all together as one because I don't want to go through and be like, the Dead Man Mode tournament, where this happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we saw a handful of new tournaments, or not tournaments, but events kind of happen this year. So yeah, a few of them, and I hope I'm not missing any. And if I am, let me know. Yeah, here's some of the tournaments that we did see this year. We had the PvP tournament, the Dead Man Mode tournaments, the Wilderness Wars, King of the Skill, Dead Man Mansions, and they had the Fire Cape speed run, or the Jad speed run, which happened, I think, right before the Inferno was coming out.
Yeah. I would probably go with probably the PvP tournament.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think that's like a really cool aspect to show, and for like new people that are watching for the first time, like on Twitch or something, they see like, oh, RuneScape. I mean, there's a lot of RNG in RuneScape, like especially with PvP and stuff, but there's also like a crap ton of skill too. Like it's not just like, like you saw like some cool little strategies and like the, I don't know, just neat little things people were doing.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Yeah, I almost want to say PvP tournament as well. It was pretty good, and I hope they bring it back and keep tweaking it. I hope it becomes like a more common thing we see, kind of like Dead Man Mode.
Yeah.
We have like an annual tournament or biannual tournaments of the PvP.
Yeah.
But I do like some of the unique ones. Wildy Wars was interesting. I wouldn't mind some other fun events. Maybe not that one specifically, but other fun, non-serious events. King of the Skill was pretty cool. It's like speedrunning RuneScape.
Yeah.
Dead Man Mansions was interesting. Bring a real-life aspect to it. They probably could have made it a little bit better and more fun to watch.
Yep.
More interactive. But yeah, I think I'll go with PvP tournaments as well, because as we saw with Dead Man Mode, they kind of took a few pointers from their PvP tournament sort of deal.
Yeah. And like all the finals and stuff were like kind of blah, except for this most recent one.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, I mean, I think, in my opinion, like the most recent one, they like knocked it out of the park, but
the 9 prior tournaments.
Yeah,
it only took them 9 times, but
it's kind of like yeesh, you know, like whatever.
They're persistent though. That's good. I'm glad. Very determined to get a good tournament down. All right, so our next category, the best controversial event of the year. Okay, maybe not the best, because how do you even word that? But but the most controversial,
the most embarrassing controversial moment of the year.
Moment of the year. That's how we should do it. Not the best controversial moment. I had to make this list because we were playing old school RuneScape after all.
Yep.
So we gotta talk about some of the shit shows that happened over the years and see which one was maybe the worst. I don't know. You know what I mean? Just
the most entertaining. I don't know.
It's hard to say. You know what I mean? Like this is just the list I put together.
How about the most depressing? How about that? The oh honey moment. You're like, oh god damn it.
The only problem is each version we gave of this, of like each best of, worst of, oh honey moment, there's a controversial moment for every single one of those that would win.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyways, let's bring them up. So everybody's favorite event, Gilbert's Colors, which was the gay pride event. The Mod Jed controversy. Mod Jed and his clanning. RuneScape HD client. Auto hotkeys. The Revenant Caves. And Mage Arena 2. I feel like if I lapped, the Jed, Rev Caves, and Mage Arena together, it would kind of be a winner. So I had to split them up to give it a fair advantage to the other topics.
Here's the thing. They were all super trashy. It's kind of hard because the gay pride event thing was the most embarrassing.
Yeah. And
it was like the one, not the one time, but like, I guess since playing Old School and starting this podcast, it was the one time I went like, oh god damn it. Like I remember the episode before, I was like, man, this community is like pretty cool, eh? Like, this is pretty sweet. Like I like this. And then the next episode, I'm like, why did I say that? Everyone's dressing up in full friggin' desert robes, being super anti-gay and shit. Like,
yeah, now
being so hateful. And like, what is wrong with not everyone, but like, 200 or 300 people.
Enough for you to be like, wow, these people exist. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure this is this is what you meant as well, but by the most embarrassing, the event itself wasn't bad. The new cosmetic item wasn't bad. It was more of the reaction from some of the people in the community.
Yeah. Like, okay, did you ever do the event?
I think I went and got like one of the colors.
The colors are like purposely put like everywhere, like that you like past the duel arena. Like you're going to the duel arena area. You're not gonna run past like deeper in to grab like all the colors were like in random spots that like you wouldn't notice unless you're looking for, except for the lumberage spot where you would start and turn it in.
Yeah. And
people were like, I don't want that in my game. I'm not homophobic, but I don't want to see that. It's like it's a rainbow in Lumbridge, like to the north of the fountain that like you're never running past it. You can see it when you run by it, but like if it wasn't in Lumbridge, it wouldn't be a big deal. I wanted to be in the northern part of the wilderness. I'd be okay with it. Like I don't know. I think people were just being hateful just because sometimes people just want to hate on something. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But, that was bad, but then also like the Mod Jed controversy, that was bad in a completely different way.
Mm-hmm.
As in like, if this is an actual thing, as in like a J-mod is like heavily involved in like the doxing,
competitive clan.
DDoSing, like the cheating, and like even like the weird side points people brought up, like how come thousands of vodkas were being bought, like as the new quest was announced for Fossil Island. Like there was some really, and it still makes me think like, why did that happen? You know what I mean? Like it's still like, I still have some questions about random things like that. Like why was that ever a thing? Like what the hell?
Yeah.
Why that happened? But then I don't know. Like I'm really torn pretty much between that, like just the whole Mod Jed as a person in the community, and the gay pride.
Yeah.
I'd probably say gay pride because there was articles all over the internet bashing RuneScape players, saying they're all like neat, hateful people, homophobic neats and stuff, and you're just like, you can't deny that because everyone is dressing up in full desert robes saying how much they hate gay people.
Well, it's the thing is, you're just like, well, that's not fair. Like, count how many people are in Falador right now doing that, and then go count how many people are at the GE just trying to double your money.
I mean, realistically,
you don't give a shit.
Realistically, it was like 200 people doing it. You know what I mean? Like it like wasn't that many people doing it,
but clustered up, it's enough to be like, whoa, you guys actually got a rally going.
Yeah, you guys are fucked in the head.
Now, the funny thing I find about that moment, about the gay pride event, is that I haven't heard anything about it since like a week after the event ended.
Yeah, it ended because I think everyone was just embarrassed that happened.
We're just gonna sweep this under the rug.
Yeah.
But one thing I find funny is I see the only time I ever get reminded that was a giant issue with some people is when I see something on like Reddit and it's a guy being like, Jagex, you said the scarf would be available to everyone on Diango's shop after the event was over, and it's still not in Diango's shop yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like people who are like, I want that scarf, and you're not making it available.
My Fashionscape. It's a good piece of Fashionscape. I'm gonna be honest, I like it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I wouldn't mind picking it up because it would really mesh well with my Fashionscape. I got the fancy boots, the rainbow boots and stuff, and kind of match pretty well. But yeah, that one was pretty bad. I listened to a lot of different podcasts for like just video games and stuff like that, like video game news, and a bunch of them they'd start talking about it, like, oh, this is gonna be interesting. I would love to hear it from an outsider's perspective, and then it turns into, see, this is the problem with RuneScapers and the people who play that game. You're like, oh man, like now it's just a giant generalization of all the players.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm torn between that one and Mod Jed because Mod Jed was kind of interesting to follow.
Yeah. I agree. The whole ordeal of going through the videos and like doing the research, going through the paste bins, and like after we recorded that whole Mod Jed fiasco, I remember looking into like a bunch of paste bins and trying to find the sources, and one of the sources was from a RuneScape private server that had a bunch of emails, IPs, and passwords and stuff. And I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast, but I remember thinking like, okay, well, these clearly aren't RuneScape accounts. They're private server accounts.
Yeah.
But why does Mod Jed have all this info? But then why is the Frontlines clan passing it off as these are RuneScape account info? You know what I mean? Like, I took 30 seconds, maybe like 30 minutes to look in past, like, even more on top of the whole fiasco when we first talked about it. Like, me looking into it a little bit more, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, you know, I'm like a random person. Like, I have no involvement in this. I'm just doing it because I like looking at this drama and shit. It's really nice. And I was able to, like, find out, like, well, that's probably not RuneScape info. Why, but old school info, but why are they passing it off as it probably is? There's clearly, something, you know what I mean? They have some sort of agenda.
Yeah, of course. So it depends, I guess, how you look at this list. Whether it's like the worst event or the worst moment in the RuneScape this year. Probably go with the Gilbert's Colors event. If you want to go with like the most interesting controversial event, maybe Mod Jed.
Yeah.
Again, Major Arena 2, Rev Caves are both pretty strong ones. AHK, we got shift out of that.
I don't really think AHK is a big deal because that shit's busted. I don't think mouse key should even, but it's, what if I'm disabled? But let's be real. I have seen, like, every disabled person I've seen stream uses, like, they're like a quadriplegic with like a mouthpiece and they're fucking killing people and like PKing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They're not sitting there going, "Oh, I can't runecraft fast enough." Like they're like, "Well, I have a disability, but look, I'm gonna fucking kill you in a 1v1 Edgeville. I'm a pure like." I don't know. The whole like, I think that shit really does go against like the integrity of the game, but they can't really say no to like, yeah.
RSHD was also an interesting one too. So
yeah, I think with that one, the people like kind of stole code from a private server.
Yeah, exactly. But remember,
that was kind of
wasn't, I guess, super. That one's not really that controversial in the sense that like at first everyone was like, "Come on, Jagex, let them please approve this client, please approve it," and they just like, "We would love to, but this is why we can't." Oh,
yeah,
fuck those guys, fuck that client. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone switched right away, but again, little interesting memory of this year in RuneScape. All right, finally for our very last category is the best nerf of 2017. So we saw some significant nerfs come into RuneScape this year, and that's something that we don't normally see compared to other games. If you ever played League of Legends or World of Warcraft, every update comes with a plethora of nerfs to different parts of that game. RuneScape, on the other hand, you don't really see too often, so always a backlash when it comes out, but anyways, we have a few of them. So we saw, and some of these are kind of nerfs, but at the same time, like, you could be like, well, that's a buff to the game. But really, it's a nerf to that specific content. So the first one I have on here is Neve's Cave, where they kind of nuked it and separated a bunch of the areas and monsters that you could kill in Neve's Caves, and they put them elsewhere in the game. Okay. So they nerfed that one specific cave because now you can't just go to that one cave to kill every single monster for Slayer. The nerf to Serpentine Helmet. So they took down, it used to be the best in slot strength helmet. And that got reverted. They took down the strength bonus and stuff like that. The nerf to Void Range. So they significantly nerfed that. You used to see that was basically the staple in Edgeville PKing was just people in Void with a ballista. They wouldn't even have a spec weapon. They'd have a main weapon that was their spec weapon. So you don't see them as much. They're still there, but not as much.
Wait, Void getting nerfed this year?
Void Range?
Yeah.
Didn't it? No, did it?
No, like, it might have. I believe you. I'm just like, wow, time flies. You know what I mean?
Yep. In May, Void Range damage boost of 20% was reduced down to 10%.
That's so weird to think. Oh my god. That's time's going by too fast.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're getting older. We got responsibilities. So after Void Range, we have the Blowpipe being nerfed in Barbarian Assault. And then lastly, Zulrah. The Zulrah drop table being nerfed significantly.
I think the Void Range was super needed. I'm kind of still not really for the Serpentine nerf. Because originally they nerfed that to kind of push in a new Fremnant quest. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Okay, that was their ideas. They didn't want to release. The power creep is always an issue in the game, and if you have a helmet or any type of armor that's just as strong as that is, if you bring out another piece of gear that's going to be stronger than that, you know what I mean? You start getting problems down the line.
Yeah. I'd probably go with the Void Range, I think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that like Zulrah nerf was really needed, but it came in too late. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. They have nerfed it a couple times, but this was like the great nerf. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Void range because I think that was like people were like, "Oh, it should be nerfed. Oh, it shouldn't be nerfed," but then they just like, "Oh, yeah, no, we should nerf it," and then they nerfed it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
you know it's bad when somebody can just bring the one item, the one weapon, and they don't have to worry about a spec weapon.
Yeah, exactly. It was what was the combo? A Void with a ballista into Void ballista spec.
Yeah.
So
if that wasn't even necessary half the time, where you're just they're hoping to get like 2 60s in a row, and then you're basically mincemeat. You couldn't even out eat it.
Yeah,
that one's pretty crazy. So yours is Void range. I agree. Zulrah was definitely needed, but again, I agree with you. It's a little late for that. It did a lot of damage to the economy, and I think it was last episode you had me worried. Or maybe you mentioned it this episode. I'm just getting a little loopy. Hard to say. But with Vorkath coming out, where that might be the new Zulrah 2.0, and then you start thinking, oh, well, if they just nerfed Zulrah so they could give the Zulrah drop table to another monster, kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think I'm going to have to go with Neve's Cave. It was one of the most private servery parts of the game when it was there.
Yep.
It looked so stupid, yet you were stupid to not use it.
Yeah.
So since then they did pretty good. They added a lot of the caves to a lot of new areas to where the existing monsters already were.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now people are actually going to Brimhaven Dungeon instead of just going to, like, why the fuck would every dragon be in one cave? Every dragon, like every giant, you know what I mean? Every Slayer monster.
We got some ghosty guys that carry a lot of herbs sitting next to like some blood velds that sit next to some dragons that sit next to some spooky skeleton guys that sit like some dogs from hell. Like it was so janky.
Yep. And glad to have seen that get nerfed as well. Okay, and yeah, there's the best of the 2017. Some lists that I came up with there. Hope I'm not missing any. It's too late now. I already made the list, but yeah, some categories that just came up as I was going through the updates this year. This was the biggest year for updates by far.
Yeah.
If you're on our Discord, I have pinned to our pinned messages. If you look at the top right, there's like a thumbtack kind of thing. You click it and it shows you a few pinned messages, but we had a person in our Discord who linked this forum post way back in the day when we had some new players that just started and they were kind of confused between this game and what had changed since 2007, basically. And that goes through all the significant updates since 2013 when Oldschool RuneScape came out. And as you're going through it, you're just like, okay, there's one post filled out for 2013, 2 posts for 2014, 5 posts for 2015 or whatever, 15. You know what I mean? It just keeps doubling. And you look at 2017 and there's like 2 pages worth.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool to see there. And I think we're going to release those lists in like a poll for categories and stuff. You guys can vote maybe over the course of the next week or 2, month. I'm not too sure. Probably should have done this a month ago, but whatever. We can get to see what you guys think deserve the number 1 spot for each of the categories. So we'll post those on Twitter, Facebook, and our Discord. And yeah, vote just for fun to see what you guys think deserve the number 1 spot. And yeah, also, I should have mentioned this before, but definitely write in and let us know what your RuneScape and real-life resolutions of 2018 are. Maybe we'll compile a list and we'll touch base in a year to see how well you did on those. All right, is that it for our 2017 in review episode?
I think so.
All right, well, Now, okay, yeah, so next week we will be visiting Lore again. That will be coming back. Like I said, we're really busy with this house. Things are slowly getting there, but I think it's gotten to a point where I can actually sit down and spend some time going over some lore and putting together that segment again. I have my little office, my little podcast studio carved out. It's just a desk in the room right now. That's why it sounds a little bit echoey. I haven't been able to do some of the things that I plan to do with it yet, but hopefully I'll do that over the course of the next month or two as I slowly start unpacking and get everything together. So, yeah, we'll revisit back on the lore. We can finish up with the gods next week. And that being said, if you guys want to get in touch with us for whatever reason, if you want to vote on those polls and stuff, there's a number of ways of doing that. If you're watching this on YouTube or whatever, we will have the links as well in the description, so you can visit it there. But otherwise, you can check us out on Twitter at The Wilderness RS. Our Facebook is facebook.com/TheWildernessPodcast. Our email is thewildernesspodcast@gmail.com. Our in-game clan chat is WildCC, if you want to hang out with us in-game. And our Discord is posted on Twitter and Facebook and maybe our YouTube description. I can't remember about that one. But yeah, it's there if you want to join as well. Yeah, that's basically it. And shit, I meant to mention, but I kind of forgot. This week, I was invited onto the Runescape podcast to kind of have their last episode of the year, kind of 2017 in review as well. So I was a guest on there, which was a lot of fun. So if you want to check that out as well, I'll throw a link to that on our Twitter and our Discord channel. And yeah, anything you want to touch on that's going on next week for you?
Next week, I'm gonna try Abyssal Sire for the first time.
Ooh.
Figure out how that bad boy goes.
It's all right.
I hope it's just worth the hassle. That's all I'm hoping for.
It's interesting. I want to say it's the only boss that has these like set in stone phases.
Yeah. Yeah, I know there's like 4 phases or something. I actually have like a 240 Abyssal Demon task, and I'm like all geared up, ready to go try him out. I'm going to do the method where I teleport to my house and just do one like a fight on him or whatever, and then I teleport back to my place over and over again. Does that make sense? Yeah. So
that sounds exciting. So yeah, well, I guess we get to hear about that next week. It's an alright boss. I can't do my full task there. I get burnt out pretty quickly.
True. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, but
it's an interesting fight and it's fun for a bit, and it does keep you on your toes. It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. It's better than Kraken and Thermi.
Yeah.
In the sense that it's more interactive. Cool.
All right.
And myself, well, we do have Dragon Slayer 2 coming out next week.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you're gearing to do it day one.
Yep.
And if you haven't noticed, I've been a little stuffy because I've been getting over a cold, but hopefully I still have the symptoms for tomorrow because we go back to work tomorrow, Wednesday. So then Thursday won't be any surprise when I call in sick.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully I can do that day one as well.
Oh, I'm so sick, boss. Oh, I got a tum ache. Oh.
Just go home, man. You know?
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm dedicated to the company. That being said, on Thursday I won't be here.
And can I take Friday off too?
Possibly Monday, depending on how hard this quest is.
Depending how much money I can make from Vorkath.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty excited for this year. I wanna see what big things happen in terms of shitstorms in the community and interesting updates like mobile.
Oh yeah, this should be a good one. I hope we're filled with some fun updates, some interesting controversies, and just quality of life as always. I hope the controversy has nothing to do with microtransactions.
Oh,
I'm scared this is going to be the year. If we see it, it'll be this year. Oh, I'm worried. I'm sweating a little bit, depending on when mobile comes out.
Mm-hmm.
So, All right, guys, may your gains of 2018 be as prosperous as 2017.
Yeah, I like that.
Perfect. There we go. All right, let's skedaddle.
All right. See you guys. Have a good one. And
take care, everybody. And again, thank you as always for listening and sticking with us.
Yeah.
All right. Ta-ta.